So we're flipping back to the first example in 10.2 on page 6 of our notes, dealing with who watches the news. Does anybody watch the news? Like, I feel like this needs to be updated, right? Because this is saying more than 55% of adults. I think it's less than 55% watch the news. It's depressing. I don't like it. So on this sheet, which you guys can print off online or I have it, what we're going to do is kind of like what we did with our intervals. So all of this test, like our next test, exam 4, is kind of in the same spot, okay? You're going to hit stat and scroll over to test. In chapter 9, when you're doing intervals, you scroll all the way down to intervals. In chapter 10, when you're doing hypothesis test, you stay up top where you're doing hypothesis test. So whenever we're dealing with a proportion, it's always a 1 prop z, okay? So for 9.1, it was a 1 prop z interval. For 10.2, it's a 1 prop z test, all right? So what's the supposed proportion, all right? That's what you labeled P naught. So what was the supposed proportion of people that watch the news? 0.55, okay? What was your X? What was your N? Sometimes putting N in is easier. How many total people did we watch? We asked 425, and how many of them said that they watched the news? Does that look okay? So your N is always the total. It's the second number. Your X is out of those total. How many said, yeah, I watched the news? 255. And then this is what gets tricky, okay? Make the symbol match. Don't make the P match. What do I mean by that? Notice here it's a greater than symbol, so you want this greater than, because what is P naught? 0.55. So this is saying greater than 0.55. So see how that symbol's a greater than? Make sure you pick the greater than. Because sometimes people want this P naught to be this P, and it's not, okay? So you hit enter there, and then you calculate. What's great is that it will give you your test statistic, 2.07, matches ours, and your p-value, 0.0191, ours is 0.0192. My math lab is set up to account for either one, okay? So if you're off by 10 thousandths of a decimal or whatever, my math lab is calculating that. It's okay. And then that 0.6 is your p-hat, that's 60% that we have. So what would I expect for you to show on a test? All of this stuff, except for 3 and 4, you would say 1 prop z test, I put this in for P naught, X, and chose this symbol. So basically what you fill in on the screen. And then 4, the p-value is just given to you. And so you just steal that and put 0.0191 there. All right? Let's do the second one. The second one's a little bit different. On page 7, the reason why it's a little different is because they didn't give you an X and an N, they just gave you an N and a percent, okay? So let's go ahead and we go to stat, scroll over to test. And again, it's still 1 proportion, so we're going to go to 1 prop z test. What's our supposed proportion of people that want to ban cigarettes? 23%, so we put 0.23. We don't know our X, so let's skip that for now. And then how many people did we ask total? What was our N? 200. So I'm going to go back to X. What can we do here? This is kind of like what we did. We had it on our worksheet like 9.1 last week or whatever. If you asked 200 people, what was your p-hat that you found? 27%. So you just want 27% of 200. You just have to multiply. All you have to do is type 27% of 200 like that. And if you hit enter, it calculates it for you. 54 is 27% of 200, okay? So you can use this system even if you're given a P, okay? So if you're given a p-hat, just do that p-hat. What symbol do we want? The not equal, so choose the first one and hit calculate. And by doing that, guys, they are doubling it for you, okay? So you know how we had to remember to double it because it was two-tailed? Notice that they got the same z-score of 1.34. Their p-value is slightly off, so see how they got 1789 and we got 1802? That's okay because my math lab accepts it and it will never be off enough to decide whether you're rejected or not, right? 18, 17, either way, you're easily greater than the 0.05, so you're going to reject. But I just want to point out, they are already doubling for you. So if you go back to your notes and you see that this is doubled, you don't have to double it if you're using your calculator and you hit the not equals. It knows to double it for you, okay?